Thanks for joining us on the CBN News Channel. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Efrem Graham. President Obama is in Israel today. Air Force One touched down at Ben Gurion Airport at about 6:20 this morning. It is the president's first visit to the country since first taking the oath of office 4 years ago. CBN's Chris Mitchell tells us what to expect from his Middle East tour.
President Obama stepped off Air Force One in Tel Aviv and conveyed his greetings to the Israeli people.
I see this visit as an opportunity to reaffirm the unbreakable bond between our nations, to restate America's unwavering commitment to Israel's security, and to speak directly to the people of Israel and to your neighbors.
The visit is dubbed Unbreakable Alliance. Some have called it a charm offensive. According to polls, many Israelis don't trust Obama. But Obama says it's his chance to connect with the Israeli people.
It could just be for the better, just to come to Israel and feel how it really is, and to be friends with us.
If he thinks he's going to come here and, dictate to us how we should go about security issues and peace with the Palestinians, stay at home.
I'm excited, but I don't have a ticket to see him.
But for many analysts, the president's timing seems a bit odd.
There's no Israeli government really that's organized itself and has its policies ready. There's certainly no Palestinian leadership representing the Palestinians.
And with Obama arriving less than a week before Passover, some Israelis liken it to Netanyahu visiting the U.S. on Christmas Eve.
But because he's announced that he's coming, and because Israel and the U.S. are the best of friends, and so he'll be very welcome.
From the start, both Israel and the U.S. downplayed any idea of major breakthroughs.
The president is not coming, as previous presidents have, either to lobby for a specific policy in the way that only U.S. presidents can do, or to take a victory lap upon the success of a policy.
Still, there's need for serious discussion.
I think Iran is probably the biggest issue, and I presume Obama will say the same things that he's been saying.
And then there's the stalled Israeli-Palestinian peace process. President Obama is scheduled to visit Palestinian-controlled Ramallah on Thursday. Then Friday, it's the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. There, Palestinians showed their disappointment with the president's first term by trashing a giant Obama poster.
He doesn't do anything for the Palestinian people. He just talks and doesn't do anything.
I think that there is no help from Obama to our situation in Palestine, because they always talk and there is no result.
We got hope, Always we got the hope in this trip.
One analyst says it may just turn out that the most important part of the visit is that it happened. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Tel Aviv.
The U.S. should be prepared to send troops to Syria to secure that nation's chemical weapons. That's the view of Senator Lindsey Graham in light of a recent report that such a weapon was used in the Civil War. Israel's new Minister of Intelligence and Strategic Affairs says it is apparently clear that either the government or rebel forces fired a chemical weapon. A U.S. official says there is no evidence to support that claim. However, he said the U.S. is ready to respond if Syria crosses that red line for intervention.
Here at home, a ban on assault weapons will not be part of the Senate's gun control legislation when it reaches the floor next month. Democrats have pressed for the ban since the December murders at an elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut. But the Senate Majority Leader has now pulled the plug. Senator Harry Reid said the measure does not have the votes to make it out of the Judiciary Committee or to pass a full Senate vote.
And I'm not going to try to put something on the floor that won't succeed. I want something that will succeed. I think the worst of all worlds would be to bring something to the floor and it dies there. People are deserving of votes on their issues they feel so strongly about.
Reid says he is still pushing for legislation to include extended background checks and a limit on ammunition clip sizes.
Rob Bell, author of the controversial book Love Wins, has come out in support of same-sex marriage. Speaking at a forum at San Francisco's Grace Cathedral, Bell said the ship of traditional marriage has sailed. Quote, "Yes, I am for marriage. I am for fidelity. I am for love, whether it's a man and a woman and a woman, a man and a man, Bell said. He added, I think this is the world we are living in, and we need to affirm people wherever they are. In 2011, Bell caused controversy with his book when he challenged traditional Christian views of heaven and of hell.
The Supreme Court takes up the thorny issue of same-sex marriage this month with 2 cases. This week, a panel asserted the court's decision could radically alter American culture. As Paul Strand tells us, they might have a bigger impact than the Roe v. Wade decision legalizing abortion.
The Supreme Court takes up 2 crucial questions March 26 and 27. Should California voters be allowed to keep gay marriage illegal? And should the federal government be allowed to define marriage as only between a man and a woman? If the court says no, that could make gay marriage the law of the land. Panelists at this Heritage Foundation event say that would affect far more than gay people. It would ignore fundamental truth.
And redefining marriage to exclude the truth about marriage would teach that marriage is not about uniting a man and a woman. It's not about the fact that biology requires a man and a woman to create a child, or the social reality that a child needs a mom and a dad. So redefining marriage obscures those truths and makes marriage about the emotions of adults rather than the needs of children.
Constitutional scholar John Eastman says homosexuals argue they're no different than heterosexuals, so deserve equal protection under the law, thus the same right to marriage. But Eastman points out the Supreme Court has always recognized the government protects traditional marriage because it's crucial to civilization's continuing existence.
It's essential to the survival of society because that's the institution that by far best produces and raises the children that are the offspring of those relationships. You sever that, you destroy why it was a fundamental goal in the first place.
Austin Nimitz is on the legal team defending traditional marriage before the High Court.
Marriage is what it has always been from the beginning of time, the union of a man and a woman. That's how the Supreme Court has acknowledged marriage 14 times in its prior jurisprudence.
Nimitz says what's at stake here is whether the American people themselves get to have the final say about what marriage is.
Whether the Supreme Court is going to impose a radical new definition of marriage on all 50 states and the 4 U.S. territories. Americans want to engage in this debate. We've been doing it for the last 10 years. Americans care about this, and what we need is the Supreme Court to keep its hands off of marriage right now. Let Americans continue to debate this through our democratic institutions.
The Heritage Foundation's Anderson points out, in a nation that's legalized same-sex marriage, people who argue it's wrong will face discrimination and even punishment. For instance,
we've already seen in the states that have adopted same-sex marriage that they've shut down Christian adoption agencies. In Massachusetts, Illinois, and Washington, D.C., Catholics were running adoption agencies. They thought kids needed a mom and a dad, and then the state said, we're not giving you license to run your adoption agencies unless you place children with same-sex couples on an equal footing as with traditional moms and dads.
So the most important cases about marriage to ever come before the Supreme Court aren't really just about marriage. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from the National Press Club.
Black clergy in Chicago are voicing their opposition to a measure that would legalize same-sex marriage in the state of Illinois. Last month, the state Senate approved legislation allowing gay couples to marry. A group called the African American Clergy Coalition is targeting the black community with radio spots and robocalls. The pastors are asking residents to urge their lawmakers to vote no on the bill. The group is also planning a street campaign.
Well, today may be the first day of spring, but winter is not going out quietly. Millions of Americans are in the path of a new storm. It's bringing more ice and snow and even some tornadoes from New England to Alabama. New Englanders welcome spring today with as much as 16 inches of snow.
Thought I was done for the year, but I guess not. It's ridiculous. We're tired of it.
Half of the country is in the path of this latest storm. In the Northeast, it's bringing dangerous icy conditions, sending cars sliding across roads.
This is bad. I stayed myself about 10 miles an hour, flash was on, but I'm telling you, you gotta stay safe.
In the Southeast, cars weren't sliding off the roads, but being blown off. The brutal winds of up to 80 miles per hour left thousands without power in Alabama and Georgia.
We've got down power lines and we want to make sure that everybody is safe.
Schools across the Northeast remain closed today. Many districts adding days to their calendar to make up for the ones missed from snow. New England has already received more than 100 inches this season.
So much for the groundhog, huh? I think you got that one wrong.
And the storm system also hit other parts of the northern U.S. with as much as 2 feet forecast in parts of Michigan.
Cyprus lawmakers rejected a tax on bank deposits that would have partly funded an emergency bailout. Many supported the vote and are cautiously celebrating the decision today, but others worry rejecting the tax could lead the Mediterranean country to a financial crisis. Cyprus needs more than €1 billion to bail out its banks. Eurozone countries and the International Monetary Fund pledged to provide €10 billion in rescue loans, but Cyprus must come up with the rest.
Up next, Osama bin Laden is gone, but his deadly terrorist organization lives on. We'll tell you how it's changing and growing.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 US gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
President Obama said recently that the core of al-Qaeda is near defeat thanks to his administration's actions in the war on terror. Yet al-Qaeda is much more than its core.
The world's most notorious terror group has taken some major hits, but as Eric Stakelback reports, it continues to expand into new hotspots around the world.
A recent study found American citizens make up more than half of those convicted for involvement with al-Qaeda. Many converted to Islam from Christianity. The stunning statistic is another sign that the face of al-Qaeda is changing in more ways than one.
They had these aspirations essentially to use Mali as a base to expand jihad across the entire part of Africa, North Africa, West Africa, and then also from there, then they can franchise into Europe.
Rudy Atala is a former counterterrorism director for the Pentagon. He says al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, or AQIM, poses a growing danger to Africa and beyond.
It's the wealthiest AQ affiliate in the world. They've made so much money. I've heard quotes as much as $90 million to $120 million. So they're flush with cash, they have a lot of weapons, and they have recruits everywhere.
The northern branch of AQIM engineered a recent hostage crisis when it seized an Algerian gas plant and murdered at least 39 people, including one American. The group's southern branch conquered much of northern Mali before being pushed back by the French military earlier this year. It threatens to go even further.
Ayman Zawahiri, who is the current emir of Al-Qaeda, said that he wanted AQIM to be a bone that would lodge itself in the throats of the Americans and the French.
AQIM's allies in Libya did just that last year when they stormed the U.S. consulate in Benghazi and murdered 4 Americans, including Ambassador Christopher Stevens. The attack shows how al-Qaeda has branched out from its traditional base or core in the tribal regions of Pakistan to new areas around the world. From Yemen to Iraq to Syria to Sinai and on to Somalia, Libya, Nigeria, Algeria, Mali, and Europe, al-Qaeda and its affiliates are expanding their reach. Israel is clearly in the group's crosshairs, with Sinai fast becoming an al-Qaeda base.
What we see today, actually, and began then, is a kind of coalition between the Salafis, some of them coming from Yemen, from Saudi Arabia, Palestinians, and Bedouins.
Israeli terror expert Eli Carmon told CBN News that al-Qaeda sympathizers have also set up shop in the Gaza Strip along Israel's southern border.
Many of them are ex-members of Hamas, which are disillusioned, or because they have personal disagreements with the leadership. Although they are not affiliated really with Al-Qaeda, they present themselves as Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda-linked groups have also taken advantage of Syria's civil war and now control some villages along that country's border with Israel. But America remains al-Qaeda's top target. The latest issue of the group's official magazine gives specific instructions on carrying out attacks inside the United States. Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, Washington.
Up next, this family fled Germany to the U.S. seeking freedom to homeschool their children. Now the Obama administration says there's no right to homeschool.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
It is shocking, but parents in Russia have more rights over their children's education than parents in Germany and Sweden. In both those countries, homeschooling is illegal.
Now, the United States Attorney General says homeschooling is not a parent's right. So what does that mean for the future of American families? Dale Hurd has the story.
This German family came to the U.S. 5 years ago, hoping to find refuge. because they wanted to homeschool their children in freedom. And a federal judge granted them asylum, but the Obama administration's Justice Department has been trying to deport them, saying that homeschooling is not a right. The case is before a federal appeals court. Uva and Hannelore Romeike began homeschooling in Germany because they didn't want their children exposed to things like witchcraft and graphic sex education, both taught in German schools.
Also, there were stories where they were encouraged to ask the devil for help instead of God, and actually the devil would help.
We found out what is in the textbooks. It's exactly the opposite from what the Bible tells us and teaches us, and we wanted to protect them.
Homeschooling is illegal in Germany, except in rare cases. And many homeschooling parents are persecuted with fines, jail, or the loss of their children. Most homeschoolers in America are left alone by the government. But what if state and federal officials started to move against homeschooling? While homeschooling is legal in most European countries, in those nations where it is illegal, homeschoolers risk losing their children. Two of the worst nations for homeschoolers are Germany and Sweden. If you'd like to see what things might be like in America if homeschooling was banned, come to Sweden, where the government controls education and the homeschooling movement has been crushed. In fact, the head of the Homeschooling Association in Sweden, Jonas Himmelstrand, had to take his family into exile. They fled to Finland.
We're in exile. We were forced out of our country. And that makes a stronger impact than I could ever imagine. This was our country. This is where we had our friends, our business relationships, and a whole lot of things, and now we're pushed away from it.
Sweden is now one of the toughest places to homeschool. Michael Donnelly of the Homeschool Legal Defense Association.
This is incredible for a nation like Sweden that calls itself a free nation, a democracy, so to speak.
Ruby Harold Clausen, president of the Nordic Committee for Human Rights, goes even further, calling it a dictatorship, where social workers tell parents what to do.
Sweden seems to be a democracy, but it's far from it. It's a dictatorship. You have the social workers dictating how people are to live. You're not supposed to be different from anyone else in Sweden. Everyone is to be uniform. They want to have these cookie-cutter children.
Clausen is the lawyer representing Christer and Annie Johansson, who have lost custody of their son Dominic because of homeschooling. Annie's health is failing, and Christer says the stress of the ordeal is killing his wife.
If we can't solve this issue soon, Dominic will not have a mother anymore.
Nations like Germany and Sweden could learn a thing or two about parents' rights from, of all places, Russia, which is one of the freest nations in which to homeschool. Pavel Parventiev is a Russian family policy expert.
We have a complete freedom of home education in Russia in terms of legality. The Russian Federation is sort of champion of human rights in this particular area. So, of course, I think it is a good example both for Germany and Sweden and other countries where home educators are persecuted.
German homeschooler Jürgen Dudek has been taken to court every year for the past 10 years by the Jugendamt, or youth office.
The youth office, I used to call it the Gestapo for the young. As soon as they step in, as soon as they get hold of you, you've really got problems.
German homeschooler Dirk Wunderlich and his wife have lost custody of their children, although they're still allowed to live with them. He told us he expects to go to jail, but says he will never stop homeschooling.
But I'm not afraid of this. It's only sad for my family, but I go laughing. You can do what you want. My children don't go to school.
In America, a red flag went up when the Justice Department argued in the Romeike case that homeschooling is not a fundamental human right. A source close to the case told us the White House cares more about relations with Germany than the rights of a family, and asylum for the Romeikes might open a floodgate of refugees from Germany, further embarrassing the German government. Uwe Romeike, who makes his living as a piano teacher, knows what to expect if they're deported to Germany.
First, they would fine us with increasingly high fines, and they would threaten us to take away custody. There might be jail time too. But the main threat, I think, is the aspect of custody, because then, of course, the children are taken away from you completely, and I mean, that's what no family wants, right?
And he says the fact that the White House would be willing to deny homeschooling freedom to his family should make American homeschoolers concerned. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
This is very, very troubling, Ephraim.
Yeah,
I homeschooled my son for 3rd grade, and I just can't imagine not being able to do that.
Unreal. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
The game show of biblical proportions is back with more action, more fun, more stars. Kirk Franklin, Mary, and more nuns.
The nuns just whooped you, man.
The American Bible Challenge Season 2 premieres Thursday, March 21st at 9/8 Central, only on GSN. Visit GSNTV.com to find GSN in your area.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
The game show of biblical proportions is back with more action, more fun, more stars. Kirk Franklin, Mary, and more nuns.
The nuns just whooped you, man.
The American Bible Challenge Season 2 premieres Thursday, March 21st at 9/8 Central, only on GSN. Visit GSNTV.com to find GSN in your area.
Finally today, with spring comes the excitement of high school prom.
But seniors at one New York City high school may not get that chance thanks to some tough love.
The bad awful shouldn't ruin the whole prom for the seniors.
The principal at the Collegiate Institute for Math and Science is telling her students that prom is canceled. That is, unless their grades improve. The school already has a high graduation rate of 90%, but its principal says grades are now slipping right now, and that there'll not be a dance without a 100% graduation rate.
People try different things to make sure that students stay focused on what's important. While a prom is nice, graduation is important.
I think it's a great thing. I think the kids need to have some accountability and they need to have higher standards. She's a great principal.
Okay, that's the chancellor. He believes that students have nothing to worry about. He says it is just a motivational tool.
Wow.
I don't know where I fall on that one.
I don't either. Well, that's going to do it for now on the CBN News Channel. And you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
Tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Join us again right here next time. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957. Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com.
Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.